Chapter 11, Xiaoya wants to quit Tang Sect. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After hearing Tangya's words, Huo Yuhao thought he had heard wrongly. Is Tangya going to leave the Tang clan? Or does she think that she, the leader of one sect, can join other sects? Furthermore, Huo Yuhao's current sect is fictitious. He originally thought that Tangya was not so easy to fool, and everything he said today was just to plant a seed in Tangya's heart. After he has researched the soul, he will try to win over the ice and snow emperors and the ferocious beasts in the Star Do forest, and the sect will naturally be established. Recruiting Tangya at that time would not expose the secret, but who would have thought that such a seed in Tangya's heart was successfully planted, but it has not even sprouted yet. How could it grow into a big tree and bear fruit? Huo Yuhao felt that his deception was too successful, but a little too successful. Tangya, you are the head of the Tang Sect. Even you, the head of the Tang Sect, have to join another sect. How can the Tang Sect be revived? Aren't you afraid that the great god of the Tang dynasty will be so angry that he will come down to earth and the blue silver will wrap around you and strangle you? Tangya, can't you be a little firmer? Huo Yuhao didn't know whether to be happy or worried now. Huo Yuhao could only refuse Tangya politely. Sister Xiaoya, you are the head of the Tang Sect. Although our sect does not object to ordinary members joining other forces, becoming the leader of other forces is not acceptable. This is simple. Tangya nodded, looked at Bebe, her tone was full of melancholy and tenderness. Bebe, my martial spirit is only blue-silver grass. I may not be able to carry forward the ambition of reviving the Tang Sect. There is still you in the Tang Sect. Your martial spirit is the top-notch beast martial soul, the blue electric Tyrannosaurus. I believe you can revitalize the Tang Sect. I will pass on the position of the Tang Sect's leader to you today. Let's fulfill our ambition, okay? Tangya sighed in her heart. Restoring the glory of Tang clan was just a joke. However, this ambition is linked to her and Bebe's past. Now, she just wants to obtain the power that allows her to take revenge personally, so this ambition can only be entrusted to Bebe. Hearing Tangya's words, Bebe became anxious. No, why is it that while recruiting sect disciples, the sect leader has to run away? You must know that he was originally sent by his great ancestor dragon god Douluo to help revive the Tang Sect, but ended up helping the sect owner run away. And then he's going to become the polished commander. He has never encountered such a situation before. Bebe said quickly, Xiaoya, you are the leader of the Tang Sect. The Tang Sect carries the aspirations of our ancestors. If you withdraw from the Tang Sect will be disbanded. Bebe was so anxious that she was no longer as gentle as before. If Tangya is no longer in Tang clan, why is he still there? Bebe said in an urgent tone, Xiaoya, have you forgotten our ambition to revive the Tang Sect together? We have agreed to revive the Tang Sect together. Tangya hesitated. Although part of her mind has been eroded by hatred, she still has feelings for Bebe in her heart. This feeling makes her hesitant and difficult to make a decision at this time. Upon seeing this, Huo Yuhao advised, Sister Xiaoya, in this case you should think about it for a while before making a decision, so that you don't regret it. After hearing this, Tangya finally decided not to leave Tang clan in a hurry. She needed to calm down and think about it for a while. Did Sister Xiaoya and Brother Bebe come to the Star Do forest to hunt for soul rings? Huo Yuhao asked. Bebe nodded. Yes, let's get the third soul ring for Xiaoya. Huo Yuhao immediately stood up and said, then what are you waiting for? Let's set off. Although I can't tell you how to evolve blue-silver grass, I can give you some advice on the choice of Sister Xiaoya's soul ring. Tangya and Bebe also stood up and prepared to leave. Tangya thanked, I will thank Xiao Yuhao later. Sister, I will recommend you to enter Shrek Academy. Huo Yuhao looked surprised. Really? Thank you so much, Sister Xiaoya. Certainly. Tangya smiled proudly and returned to her appearance when they first met. Tangmen has a quota for exemption from examination. In addition, Bebe can also recommend you to enroll. In Shrek, Bebe can walk sideways. Right, Bebe? Bebe smiled helplessly. I'm not as arrogant as you said. I'm not the kind of person who bullies others. Huo Yuhao said, Brother Bebe, can you help me put this soft bone charm rabbit away? I don't have a space soul guide. I will roast the rabbit for everyone after we leave the Star Do forest. He spent almost all the money he earned treating his mother, so naturally he had no money to buy any space soul guidance device. Bebe received the soft bone charm rabbit, and Tanya's eyes were sparkling, and she was already looking forward to the roast rabbit made by Huo Yuhao. While chatting and joking like this, the three of them went to the Star Do forest to hunt for Tanya's soul. On the way, Bebe curiously asked Huo Yuhao, Brother Huo, what is the name of your sect? Can you introduce it to me? Spirit Transferring Pagoda. Huo Yuhao did not refuse. Our sect is a hidden sect with not many people. You may not have heard of it before. It turns out it's a hidden sect. Bebe suddenly realized, and sighed at the same time, there are so many secrets in Douluo continent. I haven't heard of any hidden sect that comes out. On the contrary, I know a lot of things that the world doesn't know. Huo Yuhao silently used mental detection to monitor the surrounding 30 meters, and at the same time used simulation to cover up the traces of the soul skills he was using, so that he consumed very little. Huo Yuhao did not respond to Bebe's sigh. If Bebe had heard of Spirit Transferring Pagoda, he would be surprised. Tanya approached Huo Yuhao, with a sly look in her eyes, and asked with a smile, Xiao Yuhao, since your sect allows you to join other forces, how about joining the Tang Sect? Huo Yuhao shook his head and refused. Didn't I already say that your Tang Sect is too old-fashioned, and your Tang Sect was too glorious in the past, so that you, the younger generation, have been living in those glory, unable to see the outside world, and at the same time, it's hard to create that kind of glory, so I won't join the Tang Sect. Tanya nodded. Xiao Yuhao, please continue. I will write these down and ask Bebe to pay attention to these issues when developing Tang Sect in the future. Hearing Tanya's words, Huo Yuhao turned his head and glanced at Tanya, only to see that she looked like she was asking for advice humbly, and she was holding a notebook and a pen, and actually wanted to write down things while walking. Noticing Huo Yuhao's strange gaze, Tanya shook her pen and said, What are you looking at? I'll just write down what you said. I have to leave some advice to Bebe before I leave the Tang Sect, right? I think what you said, Xiao Yuhao, makes sense. Then I will just follow your words. Huo Yuhao said, Your Tang Sect's diplomacy is not very good either. They are all forces left by Poseidon Tang San. Shrek is now the #1 academy in the mainland. Although the Haotian sect is hidden in the world, their status is still unshakable. Only the Tang Sect has fallen to this point. If you had been better at diplomacy, would you have asked Shrek or the Haotian sect back then, and would they have ignored your request for help? Hearing this, the darkness in Tanya's eyes quietly became thicker. Chapter 12, First Show of Power. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When the Tang Sect was wiped out, she, a little girl, ran to Shrek and Haotian sect, which had agreed with the Tang Sect to help each other, for help, but no one was willing to help them. You know, the enemy of the Tang Sect at that time was just a soul emperor who didn't even have a 10,000-year soul ring. For Shrek and Haotian sect, it was easy to deal with. However, they didn't think of the friendship of the past at all. They all deserved to die. The darkness in Tanya's heart expanded again. Tanya's face became cold. You don't have to say anything more. What you said is not our Tang Sect's problem. Huo Yuhao's soul interference quietly sensed Tanya's subtle changes, and the corners of his mouth outlined a smile and then disappeared. This is good, falling little by little but not completely losing reason to become an evil soul master. In this kind of fall, the weaknesses in the heart will be infinitely magnified, and you will have more opportunities to take advantage of it. Tanya, you have to thank me. You know that blackening is 3 times stronger. Huo Yuhao looked at Bebe, who was walking through the forest and clearing the way ahead, and smiled brightly. As they went deeper into the forest, the three of them slowly slowed down their pace. Tanya asked, Xiao Yuhao, what kind of spirit ring do you think I should get? Tanya's emotions came and went quickly, and she was quite curious about what advice Huo Yuhao would give. Huo Yuhao was about to answer when he sensed a 3-meter-long snake in the detection range attacking Tanya. Sister Xiaoya, be careful. Huo Yuhao immediately reminded, and at the same time grabbed Tang Ye's right hand and threw her to the other side. At the same time, Bebe was immediately possessed by the spirit, and a dazzling blue light lit up from his forehead. Then, the blue light instantly spread and descended from his forehead into his whole body. Blue-purple electric currents burst out like little snakes and swam around his body. The sleeve on his right arm exploded and turned into ashes due to the expansion of his right arm. The length of his arm increased by more than half a foot. The whole arm was extremely thick and covered with blue-purple scales. The hand turned into a claw, covered with the same scales. Every joint on the hand became extremely thick. The blue-purple snake electricity circling around him kept condensing or flowing on his arm. The 3 soul rings, 2 yellow and 1 purple, did not circle around the body like normal soul masters, but circled on this special and abnormal arm. Bebe, whose right arm had turned into a dragon, swung his arm horizontally towards Tang Ye's side and front, and an electric net was densely covered there. Kala, with the roar of thunder, the shadow bounced back, and Bebe also staggered back 3 or 4 steps, with a slightly changed expression on his face. Obviously, the opponent's strength exceeded his expectations. Bebe also saw the shadow at the same time. It was a 3-meter-long, peach-colored snake with a small bulge on its forehead, like a flower. After being repelled by Bebe, the mandragora snake opened its mouth slightly, and a light-colored mist sprayed out from the tip of its fangs, filling the air. It's a mandragora snake. It's been about 1,000 years. Everyone closes their mouths and noses, and it will spray snake venom. Bebe stared at the mandragora snake and reminded Huo Yuhao and Tang Ye. Well, you should be careful too, Bebe. Tang Ye's response came from behind, but her voice sounded a little abnormal. Bebe frowned and asked. Xiaoya, are you okay? Well, I was bitten by a little snake venom, a little weak, it will be fine in a while. This is a detoxification pill, take it quickly, pay attention to protect yourself and Yuhao, I will deal with this poisonous snake. Bebe flipped his hand and took out a bottle of pills, swallowed one himself, and threw it to Tang Ye. He stared at the mandragora snake with a serious face. Although he was already a strong man at the level of Soul Master, he still couldn't win against the 1,000-year soul beast. This was because his own martial soul was strong enough. If it were an ordinary soul master, seeing a 1,000-year soul beast, he would have turned around and run away. Xiaoya, protect Yuhao. Bei said in a low voice, and the first soul ring on his right arm was shining. Under the strong soul power fluctuation, a dragon claw made of blue-purple lightning with a diameter of about 1 foot had already shot out and slapped the mandala snake. Okay, Tang Ye responded. At the same time, Huo Yuhao looked at Tang Ye, who was lying on the ground and shaking a little, with a strange look on his face. Huo Yuhao looked at his right hand and remembered his ability, succubus body. This was the first time he saw a human being hit by this skill, and he didn't expect the reaction to be so big. Are you okay, Sister Xiaoya? Are you in any danger from the snake venom? Huo Yuhao asked with concern, and at the same time approached Tang Ye. Tang Ye's face was full of blush, tears appeared in the corners of her eyes, and she glared at Huo Yuhao, but her eyes were not lethal, and her eyes with watery light made people feel seductive. Tang Ye stared at Huo Yuhao. Wasn't it him who made her look like this? She was clearly not poisoned by the snake, but became like this after Huo Yuhao grabbed her hand. Tang Ye saw that Huo Yuhao was unmoved by her stare and still stared at her closely. She felt ashamed and annoyed when she looked at her. He was still staring at her even though she looked like this. Tang Ye couldn't bear it anymore and said angrily, but her voice was full of tenderness, I'm fine. You, go help Bebe quickly. Huo Yuhao glanced at Tang Ye with a smile and said, I'll go help brother Bebe right now. Sister Xiaoya, take care of yourself. Seeing Huo Yuhao a little further away from him, Tang Ye finally breathed a sigh of relief. Huo Yuhao's last weird look made her want to bury herself in the soil and never see anyone again. It was so embarrassing, she didn't know why Huo Yuhao's body became so strange after touching it, it's just that feeling was so happy. She might never forget that feeling for the rest of her life. She really wanted to experience it again. This thought flashed through her mind, making Tang Ye even more shy. How could she have such thoughts? How should she face Beibei in the future? How should she face Yuhao? Meanwhile, Beibei is fighting the Datura snake. After his careful design, he successfully trapped the mandala snake into the pincer attack of his first soul skill, Thunder Dragon Claw, and his second soul skill, Thunderous Dragon Claw. It's just that 1,000-year soul beast is 1,000-year soul beast. The mandala snake spit out a burst of poisonous mist, which wiped out Beibei's careful design and had no effect at all. At this time, Huo Yuhao walked up behind Beibei and said, "Brother Beibei, let me help you." Beibei shook his head and said, "This guy is very difficult to deal with. I'm afraid he has to plan a protracted war. There are probably other soul beasts around. You should protect yourself and I will deal with him myself. You will join us on the battlefield." Injured. Hearing this, Huo Yuhao felt that Beibei is really a good person, but there is no friendship on the court. "Even if you are the goalkeeper, I still have to score goals." Huo Yuhao said nothing and took action directly. Chapter 13 Powerful Auxiliary Capabilities. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huo Yuhao withdrew some of the simulation effects, only to see his eyes glowing with light gold, and a circle of yellow soul rings rising from his feet. In an instant, Beibei's body shook, showing a shocked look. In his eyes, everything within 100 meters radius seemed to slow down. Everything around him, even as small as sand and dust, appeared three-dimensionally in his mind. At the same time, there were all kinds of information, even the mandala snake. He can easily judge the movement trajectory. Is this, younger brother Yuhao's soul skill? It's really amazing. With this soul skill, he can predict all the enemy's moves. Just a century-old spirit ring could have such a miraculous effect. Beibei began to wonder what kind of powerful martial spirit Yuhao's brother was, but for now, let's deal with the mandala snake in front of us first. Beibei's only 1,000-year soul ring lit up, and the third soul skill, Thunder's Fury, was a gainful soul skill, which was enough to double Beibei's combat power in a short period of time. Under the mental detection, Beibei used the Thunder Dragon Claw to accurately grab the mandala snake. The mandala snake sprayed out a poisonous mist to block the dragon claw's attack. Sensing danger, it turned around and ran away. But Beibei had already anticipated its next move, and another Thunder Dragon Claw attacked in its direction of movement in advance. In the face of the crisis, the Datura snake erupted, a strong pink light lit up from its head, a hissing scream sounded, the flower-like protrusion on the top of its head suddenly exploded, and a pink blood arrow went straight to Beibei flew away. In Beibei's view, the outbreak of the mandala snake was like a joke. The direction of the blood arrow deviated 180 degrees from where he was. Huo Yuhao's face was a little pale. This was a small experiment on his soul skills. He used 3 soul skills for a seemingly simple ability. First, he used simulation to simulate Beibei and the surrounding environment, creating an illusion. Then he used spirit sharing to share the illusion into the mind of mandala snake, and then used soul interference caused the mandala snake to ignore the spiritual sharing link and subtle changes in the surrounding environment. It took 3 steps to give the mandala snake a wrong perception. In fact, to achieve this effect, one can simulate a soul skill alone or use soul interference to achieve it. But just by simulating it, Beibei will also notice the changes in his surroundings, exposing himself to the fact that one soul ring actually has 2 skills. Huo Yuhao had already experimented with directly using soul interference to change the consciousness of the mandala snake. Modifying the consciousness of the mandala snake cost him a lot of mental and soul power, making him look a little pale. Huo Yuhao realized that he could not directly use soul interference to forcibly modify the enemy's soul, so he thought of using simulation and mental sharing to hint at the mandala snake to assist the use of soul interference. With this change, soul interference consumes much less soul power and mental power. This also made Huo Yuhao realize that the cost of soul interference to modify other people's consciousness is probably related to the degree of resistance of the other party's spirit. The more the other party does not want to change this idea, the greater the cost. Therefore, before interfering with souls in the future, perhaps we can use simulation and spirit sharing to build an illusion to hint at deceiving the other party and disintegrate or eliminate the other party's sense of resistance. Huo Yuhao was thoughtful. At this time, the mandala snake had no power left to resist, so Bebe knocked it out with thunderbolts. Xiaoya. Bebe shouted, indicating to Tanya that this mandala snake could be used as her third soul ring. Tanya had recovered at this time, but her face was still a little flushed and a little soft. She understood what Bebe meant. She walked quickly to the mandala snake and killed the mandala snake with one knife. A purple soul ring emerged from the body of the mandala snake. Tanya looked at Huo Yuhao, her eyes a little shy and evasive. Huo Yuhao, can I absorb the soul ring of this mandala snake? Huo Yuhao was surprised that Tanya dared to talk to him so quickly, but he didn't do anything more and replied, it's best not to. Bebe asked, as far as I know, the first soul ring of the ancestors of the Tang Sect is the mandala snake. This mandala snake should be a rare soul ring for blue-silver grass, right? Huo Yuhao shook his head and explained, that's because the martial spirit of Poseidon Tang San is the blue-silver emperor. It's better for ordinary blue-silver grass spirit masters not to absorb the mandala snake's spirit ring. Although it can enhance the toughness of blue-silver grass, giving blue-silver grass its toxicity, but sacrificing the future of blue-silver grass. Tanya asked curiously, then what soul ring should I absorb? Huo Yuhao asked, what do you think is the greatest characteristic of blue-silver grass? The biggest characteristic? Tanya thought for a while and tentatively replied, weak. Huo Yuhao glared at her angrily and said, it is the endless vitality. Although blue-silver grass is weak, it is everywhere on the continent, whether it is in the soul beast forest or on the roadside of the city, in the ocean or in the desert. You can see them more or less. Tanya nodded thoughtfully. She didn't know why, but now she felt that everything Huo Yuhao said made sense, and she couldn't help but want to get close to him, but she was afraid of this mentality around Bebe. Huo Yuhao continued, the so-called wildfire cannot be burned out, but the spring breeze blows and regenerates. This is the greatest characteristic of blue-silver grass, and it should also be the direction for the strengthening of blue-silver grass soul masters. You must know that the name of the soul bone produced by the 100,000-year-old blue-silver emperor Ain is called Spring Breeze Blows Again, so it is okay to say that this is the characteristic of blue-silver grass. Bebe also agreed with Huo Yuhao's point of view and felt much closer to this well-informed little brother. Bebe realized that all the previous blue-silver grass spirit masters had gone in the wrong direction, and the reason for all this was that there was a sea god whose actual martial spirit was the blue-silver emperor, but was believed to be a blue-silver grass. It was really fate that made people play tricks on him. All this was the fault of the person who recorded the classics. If there was a chance, Bebe really wanted to beat up the person who recorded the sea god's martial spirit. It was him who caused Tanya and the Tang Sect ancestors to waste so many years, Bebe said. Then let's move on and find a suitable spirit ring for Xiaoya. Well, let's go. Tanya said loudly in a cheerful tone. The three continued to move forward, and Bebe approached Huo Yuhao and said, while there is no danger now, Yuhao, please introduce your spirit skills to me. It's so comfortable with your assistance. I haven't fought so comfortably for a long time. Seeing the two people gathered together, Tanya's phoenix eyes turned and she also came up. What do you mean comfortable? You are not talking about any unhealthy topics, are you? Tanya looked at the two suspiciously. Huo Yuhao immediately jumped away from Bebe. His current ability is succubus body, which is not only effective for women, but also for men. It can change their orientation. He didn't know if Bebe was hit, but it didn't stop Huo Yuhao from staying away from him just in case. He was only interested in beautiful women, not in difficulties. Although Tanya and Bebe were a pair of ill-fated lovers in the original novel, he only liked Tanya's beauty. The art of killing both husband and wife was still a bit advanced for humans. Chapter 14 Soul Skills. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bebe looked at Huo Yuhao who was making a fuss and Tanya who was succeeding in the prank, and couldn't help but help her forehead. It was a real headache, and his head felt a little heavy. Alas! With a helpless sigh, Bebe explained to Tanya seriously, we are not talking about unhealthy topics. We are discussing Yuhao's soul skills. Yuhao's soul skills are really an auxiliary god. Technology, You will know what it feels like after you experience it. Really? Is it that powerful? Tang was intrigued by Beibei's words and immediately approached Huo Yuhao. Xiao Yuhao, please show me, sister, your soul skills. Huo Yuhao activated the mental detection and shared it with Tang. When Huo Yuhao's skills were linked to Tang was also shocked by the soul skills. Her shocked expression was exactly the same as Beibei's expression when she experienced the soul skills. Even the places she couldn't see within a radius of 100 meters could be detected so clearly. She could even detect the ground with her thoughts, and various data emerged at the same time. The screen even included various data about her own body. Tang looked at it curiously and couldn't help but blush. It's over, exposed. During the detection, why was the water content of the clothes between her legs much higher than the clothes elsewhere on her body? This shouldn't be discovered by Beibei, right? Tang didn't dare to look at Beibei now. She didn't know how to explain to Beibei, let alone how to face Beibei. Could it be that after confessing to Beibei that he only had contact with Yuhao, he became like this? This is really, that it was so shameful that Tang felt that her mind had gone blank. In a daze, Tang found that the detection screen had changed, which made her calm down a little. I saw in the picture that the moisture content of the clothes between my legs became the same as other places, but after a while it changed back again, and so on. Tang didn't know that Huo Yuhao was manipulating soul skills to play with her. When Beibei wasn't paying attention, Tang glanced hard at Huo Yuhao with her twinkling phoenix eyes. Facing Tang's harmless glare, Huo Yuhao smiled slightly, and used his mental power to transmit a message in Tang's mind. Sister Xiaoya, I won't tell brother Beibei, this is between the two of us. Secret. Tang shyly looked away from Huo Yuhao. She couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief and let go of her worries. Beibei looked at Tang who seemed to be having a great time and said, isn't Yuhao's soul skill very powerful? Tang replied guiltily, it is indeed very powerful. Beibei looked at Tang gently and noticed that her cheeks were a little rosy. Worried that Tang might not be feeling well, she asked with concern, Xiaoya, why is your face so red? Is there any? Tang put her hand on her cheek nonchalantly, maybe I have a fever after running for too long. It's not a big problem. Beibei was very considerate to Tang. We have indeed been traveling for too long, so let's stop and rest for a while, just in time for brother Yuhao to introduce his soul skills to us. The three of them stopped and rested against the trees. Tang and Beibei looked at Huo Yuhao. Xiao Yuhao, what is your martial spirit? I still don't know your martial spirit. Tang was a little curious. Huo Yuhao's martial soul possessed him, and his pupils lit up with a faint golden light, and he replied, it's the eyes. Can't you see it? My eyes will glow when I'm possessed by the martial soul. Huo Yuhao wanted to give others wrong hints, making them think that his eyes would glow when he used martial arts, but in fact his simulated soul skills could cover up this feature. Beibei sighed, I didn't expect that Yuhao, your martial soul is actually the original martial soul. No wonder your soul skills are so powerful. Tang wanted to know the function of Huo Yuhao's soul skill. After all, that soul skill could actually detect such embarrassing data. Huo Yuhao could change it at will and transmit sounds. With so many functions, she felt that it didn't look like a century-old soul at all. Ring can do it, Tang asked. Xiao Yuhao, please introduce to us the function of your soul skills. We will cooperate in the future to help me hunt soul beasts. We need to know more about your soul skills. Huo Yuhao thought for a moment and then said, my first soul skill is called spirit detection sharing. You can also feel the range. Now it can work within a range of about 100 meters in diameter. When my soul power and mental power increase in the future, this range should be able to be increased, and this soul skill does not consume much soul power, it mainly consumes mental power, and I have also developed some small skills, but these have no effect on teammates and are only useful on enemies. I won't say anything. No way. Beibei looked at him dumbfounded, a skill with such a powerful effect consumes a lot of soul power. Your spiritual martial soul seems to be too powerful. Tang was also shocked, and she was even more shocked than Beibei, because she had experienced the little tricks Huo Yuhao mentioned for dealing with enemies. Tang Yaqiong raised her nose lightly and snorted softly in her heart, the bad guy is really powerful. The three of them experimented with Huo Yuhao's skills for a while, and then set out to find a suitable soul ring for Tanya. Hard work paid off. Perhaps due to Huo Yuhao's powerful luck guidance as the son of luck, the three of them finally found a life-type soul beast that was extinct in records before sunset, the soul-absorbing grass, and obtained it for Tanya. The third soul ring of 1,000 years, the soul-sucking grass, also helped Tanya a lot. First, it gave Tanya's blue-silver grass martial soul the soul-sucking feature, allowing Tanya to absorb the soul power in the air to slightly speed up her cultivation. At the same time, Tanya can also absorb the soul power of the enemy to continue in battle. The soul skill is to convert soul power into vitality to heal the person connected by the blue-silver grass. In fact, Tanya didn't say one thing, that is, after she obtained this soul ring, it can absorb the vitality of animals and plants, including humans, to speed up her cultivation. She knew that this was the ability of an evil soul master. Once she exposed this ability, even if she had Bebe, what awaited her was only to be confined to Shrek Academy for a lifetime, unable to seek revenge, and could only let her enemies live happily. For such an ability, Tanya did not have a trace of fear, only joy from the bottom of her heart. With this ability, she finally had the ability to take revenge. As long as she secretly absorbed the vitality of some plants, as long as she did not absorb the vitality of humans, Tanya could still accept it in her heart. The three of them hurriedly headed out of the Xingdou Great Forest, wanting to leave before it was completely dark. As the night fell, Tanya put away her worries, a smile appeared on her lips, and she secretly glanced at Huo Yuhao. It was great. Everything seemed to be getting better since she met him. The breeze blew away the girl's hair and the worries on her brows. Chapter 15 Admission Examination. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 2 days later, the three finally arrived at Shrek City, where Shrek Academy is located. Shrek City is located at the junction of the three empires of Tianhun, Douling, and Xingluo. It was built on the basis of Shrek Academy. It is independent from the three kingdoms and autonomous from Shrek Academy. Because of Shrek Academy, which is known as the #1 academy in the mainland, Shrek City is also one of the largest cities in the mainland, especially prosperous. On Douluo continent, most of the noble class are soul masters, and Shrek Academy, as the best soul master academy, attracts soul master nobles from all over the world to Shrek City. Most of the nobles are wealthy people, so Shrek City has such a prosperous scene. Shrek Academy is located in the east of Shrek City. The east gate of Shrek City belongs exclusively to Shrek Academy, and only internal personnel of Shrek Academy are allowed to pass through. At this time, Huo Yuhao and the others were standing in front of the east city gate. Xiao Yuhao, have you really decided to participate in the freshman assessment? You don't have a recommendation letter from the city lord. Even if you are recommended by Bebe and I, you still have to go through a practical test to pass. It's a pity that Xiao Yuhao doesn't want to join our Tang Sect. Tang Sect's exemption quota can only be used by those who join Tang Sect. Sister Xiaoya, don't worry, I'm confident that I can pass the exam. Huo Yuhao responded to Tanya's worries with a smile. His current soul power level is about 16 or 17, but his mental power may have reached the level of a soul saint soul Douluo or even a Titled Douluo. Just relying on the powerful mental power impact, I am afraid that ordinary soul sect soul kings will not be able to do it. Hard to resist. What's more, through digesting and absorbing the memories of Electrolux and Tianmeng Ice Silkworm along the way, he has also made great progress in the application of mental power. But Yuhao, your first soul skill is just an auxiliary soul skill. Is that really okay? Bebe was also a little worried about whether this little brother, whom he looked so fond of, could successfully pass the test. Huo Yuhao responded confidently, Brother Bebe, don't worry, I have also developed other uses of the first soul skill, and you can see it when the time comes. Seeing this, Bebe stopped trying to persuade him. Along the way, he also roughly understood that Huo Xiaodi in front of him had a targeted character. Since he said he was sure, there was a high probability that there would be no problem. After greeting the Shrek students along the way, Bebe and Tanya took Huo Yuhao to the new student recruitment office at the city gate. Shrek Academy's new student recruitment department is headed by 3 teachers. There is an ordinary instructor from each of the Martial Soul Department and the Soul Guidance Department. Douluo, the teaching director of the Martial Soul Department, is the general person in charge. After Beibei stepped forward to negotiate with Douluo, he came back and brought Huo Yuhao to Douluo. Huo Yuhao, right? I heard from Beibei that your first soul skill is very powerful, but after all, you don't have a letter of recommendation from the city lord, so we still have to test your strength in accordance with the regulations. Only if your strength reaches the standard can you become a student of Shrek Academy. Douluo said in a serious tone after looking Huo Yuhao up and down. Huo Yuhao nodded, showing determination, not at all worried about the assessment. Douluo nodded with satisfaction. Although he would most likely recruit the people recommended by Beibei, he would not be able to save face if they were too useless. Douluo sat down and registered Huo Yuhao's information. Name: Huo Yuhao. Age: 11 years old. Martial spirit. Spirit eyes. Original martial spirit. Douluo was surprised. Yes. Douluo's expression became much kinder. With his true martial soul, it seemed that the academy had received another good prospect, and he had recruited this person himself. Innate soul power. Level 1. What? Douluo raised his head, as if he didn't hear clearly. My innate soul power is level 1. Douluo's face turned serious again, pointing to the crystal ball used to test soul power. Go and test the soul power level. Huo Yuhao walked to the crystal ball, touched it with one hand, and output his soul power. Douluo saw the crystal ball slowly filling up, and his expression softened again. The soul power level is level 18, qualified. Huo Yuhao was quite surprised to learn that his soul power level had actually reached level 18. His start was much more comfortable than the original Huo Guo. Douluo put down the registration form and said, if you are an ordinary freshman, you can pass now, but you don't have a recommendation letter from the city lord, so you still have to take an assessment, a practical assessment. Only if you pass the assessment can you become a freshman in the college. Since Beibei said that your soul skills are auxiliary soul skills, I will slightly relax the assessment standards for you. Your opponent will be a century-old soul beast. As long as you can survive its attack for 5 minutes, I will judge whether you can pass the assessment based on your performance. Huo Yuhao said expressionlessly, I understand. Let's go to the beast fighting area. Douluo led Huo Yuhao and the others to the beast fighting area for testing. The fighting area is mainly divided into 2 parts. One part is the animal enclosure that the students cannot see, and the other part is the Colosseum where they are now. The soul beasts that fight the students are all the soul beasts kept in captivity by Shrek Academy itself. The beast fighting zone spends 1/3 of Shrek's total income every year. It can be said that Shrek invests more in each soul beast in the fighting beast zone than in the vast majority of students, in order to train students. The experience of fighting spirit beasts, most of the upgrade assessments for each grade are conducted in the beast fighting area. In addition, the college also offers courses in the Colosseum, but only students in 4th grade and above can participate. After all, for lower grade students, fighting beasts the field is still too dangerous. Without the protection of the teacher, there is no guarantee that he will not be killed due to negligence, because it takes time to prepare for the assessment in the Colosseum. Huo Yuhao waited in the viewing area with Beibei and Tangya. Xiao Yuhao, if you can't resist, ask for help immediately. Teacher Du will come down to save you. Tangya looked at Huo Yuhao with a worried look. Beibei said no more, but patted Huo Yuhao on the shoulder to encourage him. Huo Yuhao said solemnly, Brother Beibei, Sister Xiaoya, I will pay attention to safety, and it's just 100-year soul beast. If I encounter an irresistible danger, I believe Teacher Du can still save me in time. After a while, the assessment officially began. Since the assessment was not allowed to use soul guides, Huo Yuhao handed the white tiger dagger to Tangya for safekeeping, and then walked into the arena. Standing on the ring, Huo Yuhao lowered his body to facilitate his strength at any time. His eyes exuded a faint golden light, and a circle of yellow soul rings rose from under his feet. Huo Yuhao stared at the dark ramp, and his spiritual detection went there to explore. Although the soul beast had not yet appeared, Huo Yuhao already knew what soul beast he was going to face. The Earth Bull, a 100-year soul beast, mainly used straight-line collision as its main attack method. Those with good talents could also master gravity and earth elemental abilities. Huo Yuhao smiled faintly. He didn't need to expose too much of this clumsy soul beast to easily deal with it. Chapter 16 The Suicidal Soul Beast. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huo Yuhao used mental detection to wrap up the entire arena, and then he detected an earth-yellow figure in his field of vision heading straight towards him. During the mental detection, the opponent's attack trajectory clearly emerged, and he could even predict the next move of the Earth Barbarian. This allows Huo Yuhao to use the smallest movement to dodge the opponent's long-charged attack. The figure of the Barbarian Bull was getting closer and closer to him. Huo Yuhao seemed to be frightened and stood still, staring blankly at the Barbarian Bull. Douluo shook his head when he saw this. He thought the young man could last at least a minute or two, but he didn't expect that he would be eliminated as soon as he met him. Douluo is ready to rescue at any time. If the young man cannot escape, he will save him in time. As for enrolling in school, I recommend him to go to the Soul Guidance Department. The Martial Soul Department does not need such a weak student. 10 meters, 8 meters, 5 meters. Seeing that the bull was about to hit Huo Yuhao, Tang Ye couldn't help but scream in surprise. At the same time, Huo Yuhao jumped slightly and easily avoided the impact of the bull. But from Tang Ye's point of view, the horns of the Earth Bull were almost grazing Huo Yuhao's body. If Huo Yuhao had been half a second slower, he would have been seriously injured and died. Huo Yuhao knew that he couldn't dodge too early, so that the Earth Barbarian Bull would have enough distance to change direction. Wait for the Earth Barbarian Bull to get close, and then dodge to the maximum limit. You can perfectly avoid the Earth Barbarian Bull's attack, leaving the Earth Barbarian Bull no chance to attack in succession. Don't think it is easy to do this. If there is no mental detection to accurately control the distance and movement of the Earth Bull, it is impossible for senior students to be so bold as to start to dodge slightly when they are so close. Although Huo Yuhao did what he did to the extreme, this was a provocation to the Earth Barbarian Bull. The four hooves of the Earth Barbarian Bull suddenly stopped, and dust suddenly flew into the Colosseum. The wide-open eyes glared at Huo Yuhao. Huo Yuhao took this opportunity to move away from the Earth Barbarian Bull and move towards the edge of the Colosseum. The Earth Barbarian Bull charged several times with anger, but Huo Yuhao easily dodged them all. After being unable to attack for a long time, the Earth Barbarian Bull became even more angry. The soul power was gathered, and an earthy yellow light lit up on its horns and spread to the surroundings. Huo Yuhao instantly felt that his body was much heavier. This is the soul skill of the Earth Barbarian Bull, gravity control. Although this soul skill made it more difficult for Huo Yuhao to move, after Huo Yuhao adapted to the gravity field for a while, he was able to easily avoid the attacks of the Earth Bull. Although the Earth Barbarian Bull has high attack and defense, it is too bulky after all. More than 4 minutes passed quickly, and Huo Yuhao calculated the time in his mind. When it was almost 5 minutes before the end of the assessment, the Earth Barbarian Bull once again launched a tireless charge towards Huo Yuhao, who was standing at the edge of the Colosseum. The Earth Barbarian Bull is getting closer and closer to Huo Yuhao, getting closer and closer. In the eyes of the Earth Barbarian Bull, the human in front of him actually did not avoid it this time. It felt unprecedentedly excited and mobilized the maximum power it could use. All its soul power was concentrated on its 4 hooves and horns. It just wanted to hit the opponent to death. Hit. But why is there no touch? Before the Earth Barbarian Bull could figure it out, it had already slammed into the stone wall of the Colosseum with all its strength. With a boom sound, the Earth Barbarian Bull slowly fell down, and a soul ring slowly rose from its body. Congratulations, it became the first spirit beast to successfully commit suicide in the history of the Shrek Beast Fighting Zone. In this way, it can be regarded as making history. Huo Yuhao opened his eyes wide when he saw the soul ring slowly appearing on the body of the Earth Barbarian Bull after he fell. It's a collision, it's definitely a collision. The other party thought he was still standing where he was. He just used the 3 soul skills of simulation, spirit sharing, and soul interference to make the other party think that he was still standing there and not avoiding it. He also used soul interference to hint that the other party would go all out. Who knew that the other party would kill him? It's all because the walls of the Colosseum are so hard that there is no such living life in the world. What a sin! At this time, Douluo, the teacher in charge of the beast fighting area, Bebe, and Tanya all gathered around, looking at the body of the earth barbarian bull with strange expressions. From their perspective, it was like a beast from the earth that had knocked them to death. It was really a long time since they were alive. Seeing Douluo and the teacher in charge of the beast fighting area, Huo Yuhao's innocent eyes widened. The villain first complained, "You won't let me pay for the death of this wild bull, right? You have all seen it, it killed it on its own. I killed myself, I just escaped its attack. No need to pay compensation, the beast fighting area also has death indicators." The teacher in charge of the beast fighting area shook his head, then took out a notebook and muttered to himself, recording something in it. It seems that another rule of the beast fighting area has to be added. When fighting the spirit of the earth bull, you are not allowed to stand on the edge of the beast fighting area. Sure enough, behind every outrageous rule there is an even more outrageous story. At this time, Douluo also handed the admission information to Huo Yuhao. "Congratulations, classmate Huo Yuhao, you successfully passed the assessment and will be a member of Shrek Academy from now on. This is your admission information." Huo Yuhao was suitably overjoyed. "Did I pass the assessment?" "Great." Tanya and Bebe also happily stepped forward to congratulate Huo Yuhao. After the three of them calmed down, Douluo asked with a serious face, "Classmate Huo Yuhao, does the death of the earth barbarian really have nothing to do with you?" Huo Yuhao showed an innocent expression, "It really doesn't matter. I just stood on the edge of the Colosseum and avoided its attack. Who would have thought that it would kill me headlong?" Douluo nodded in agreement with Huo Yuhao's statement, but he couldn't help but ask, "Classmate Huo Yuhao, what is your first soul skill? Why haven't I seen you use soul skills?" "Actually, I have been using it, but others can't notice it." "Teacher Do, please don't resist my mental power. I'll show it to you." Huo Yuhao activated the mental detection sharing. Although he doesn't like this teacher who has changed his temper several times, he can gain more training by showing his value appropriately. Soon, Douluo learned about Huo Yuhao's #1 soul skill. As expected, he became much kinder when facing Huo Yuhao. Sure enough, as Bebe said, it is a powerful auxiliary soul skill. "Yuhao, please work hard, your future is limitless." Douluo patted Huo Yuhao on the shoulder to encourage him. As expected, he personally recruited him into the academy, and he will not be disappointed. He had to write a report and give it to Yan Xiaoya, the dean of the martial arts department. "You must know that this is the original martial spirit, and the first soul skill is so heaven-defying. As for the previous idea of sending Huo Yuhao to the soul guidance department, I don't know what soul guidance department, this is a talent from their martial soul department, and it is also his contribution. How can he give it to the soul guidance department?" After Douluo left, Tanya took out a belt studded with gems and handed it to Huo Yuhao. "Xiao Yuhao, this is a replica of the space soul guide of our ancestors of the Tang Sect, 24 Bridges on the Bright Moon Night. I see that you don't have a space soul guide, so I made it your entrance gift." Huo Yuhao did not refuse and readily accepted. He really needs a space soul guide, otherwise it will be inconvenient to do anything. Huo Yuhao kept Xiaoya's help in mind and could only repay him later. This soul guide was imitated from Tang San's, which made Huo Yuhao a little uncomfortable, but he would just make do with it and change it when he had money. "Thank you, Sister Xiaoya. From now on, if Sister Xiaoya wants to eat, you can come to me. I am quite confident in my cooking skills." "That's really great." Tanya's eyes sparkled, already looking forward to the delicious food in the future. Bebe saw Huo Yuhao accepting the gift, so she took Huo Yuhao to go through the admission procedures. Along the way, she pointed at the sculptures in the academy and introduced Huo Yuhao to the story of the Shrek 7 monsters and the Golden Iron Triangle. Huo Yuhao also observed these sculptures and found that the images of these sculptures were more like the Shrek 7 monsters in the comics. After looking at these sculptures, Huo Yuhao looked back and listened quietly to Bebe's praise of those people with a polite smile. I have to say, if he hadn't read Douluo Yi's original work and knew what level the master Tang San and the others were, and just listened to Bebe's introduction, He would have really thought that Tang San and the others were saints, if people like Shrek Academy saw with their own eyes how miserable the ancestor and founder of their faith was. What kind of expression would they show? It's really curious. Chapter 17, Moon, Contact with Titled Douluo, completed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bebe and Tanya still had many things to do. After completing the admission procedures with Huo Yuhao, they left. Huo Yuhao came to the student dormitory alone. The student dormitories of Shrek Academy have 4 colors, white, yellow, purple and black, which correspond to different grades. The freshman dormitory is in the white area. Huo Yuhao came to the door of the white building, where an old man who looked very senior was sitting. The old man was dressed in gray cloth, his face was covered with wrinkles, his eyes were dim and his eyelids were drooped, and he looked like he was in his twilight years. The sunlight between the buildings was just enough to fall on him, and the half-reclined seat looked very comfortable. Huo Yuhao knew that this was the only remaining extreme Douluo in Shrek Academy, dragon god Douluo One, who was also Bebe's ancestor, thinking that his task of solidifying the succubus body required contact with a titled Douluo for 30 seconds. Huo Yuhao stepped forward and greeted him warmly. Hello, Grandpa, I am a new student and I am here to move into the dormitory. Are you here to bask in the sun? I'm telling you, you're getting older and you need to take some rest, but you also need to take some exercise. How about I help you get up and move around? Moon's drooped eyelids didn't even raise, looking old, but his eyes were full of energy. He looked at Huo Yuhao with interest and said, I'm old, so I can't mess with him. Young man, you'd better clean up your dormitory. Huo Yuhao did not leave, but walked to Mun in a few steps. He supported the old man's arm with one hand, grabbed the old man's left hand with the other, and said, Look at what you said, it is precisely because you are old that you should walk more. If a person does not move, his body will get rusty, and when his body gets rusty, he will age faster. Therefore, walking appropriately can delay aging. Just let me help you walk around, kid. Don't be polite to me. I like helping the elderly the most. Mu-en chuckled twice, then stood up with Huo Yuhao's support. Young man, you are right. If this person doesn't move, he will get rusty. Once he gets rusty, there will be more problems. Maybe I should let's do some activities occasionally. Come on, young man, stay with me for a while. After saying this, Mu-en took 2 shaky steps. His staggering steps made people feel like he would fall over if he was blown away. Fortunately, Huo Yuhao was there to support him. Huo Yuhao thought why the old man was so heavy, so he held up his arm, as if something weighing hundreds of kilograms was pressing down on him. I'm afraid the old man wasn't maliciously retaliating against me, Huo Yuhao secretly cursed in his heart. While enduring the heavy pressure on his body, he helped Mu-en wander around the dormitory. Moon looked at the energetic children around the student dormitory, and unconsciously recalled the scene in his youth when Long Xiaoya and Yi Shishui traveled to the mainland together. He was so high-spirited at the beginning. In order to pursue Yi Shishui, he fought with his friend Long Xiaoya, but in the end he was slightly better. Looking back now, there is actually a trace of regret emerging in my heart. He shouldn't have fought for Yi Shishui and Xiaoya at the beginning. Maybe in this way, he could meet Long Xiaoya more often, instead of not meeting each other for decades like now. Half an hour later, the old man and the young boy returned to the freshman dormitory building, and Moon also recovered from his memories. I am really old, and I recall the past without even realizing it. Moon laughed at himself and looked at the young man who was supporting him. Seeing that Huo Yuhao was sweating profusely from exhaustion, Mu-en smiled cheerfully and said, Young man is a little weak. I have been walking around with the old man for such a short time and I am exhausted. It seems that you are the one who needs to move more. That person. Thank you, senior, for the tip. Huo Yuhao stood respectfully and responded, secretly cursing in his heart, You are such a bad old man. You have hundreds of kilograms of weight pressing on me for nearly half an hour. How can I not stop sweating profusely? Moon lay down on the recliner again, half closed his eyes, returned to his original sleepy appearance, and said, You should just call me like before. After saying that, he waved his hand and signaled Huo Yuhao to leave. Go ahead. Your dormitory is number 108, the third room from the left on the first floor. Starting from the fourth floor are the girls' dormitories. You can't go up there. You will be expelled if you find out. Huo Yuhao thanked the old man again and then walked into the dormitory building. Mun kept his original posture and murmured in a low voice, "What an interesting little guy. He has good physical fitness and even better mental strength. This time, the academy has really recruited an incredible talent." Huo Yuhao used half of his mind to find his dormitory, and the other half of his mind entered his spiritual sea to check the progress of the solidification task. As expected, the Titled Douluo column of the solidification task shows that it has been completed. Huo Yuhao was in a good mood, and even his steps were much lighter. The most difficult task has been completed, the other tasks are trivial. It's just a pity that Mr. Mu didn't know if his sexual orientation was changed by the succubus body. It only took 30 seconds, but he had to drag himself around for so long and use gravity to press him. Now it's better, 30 seconds becomes half an hour, and the probability of the succubus body changing its orientation after such a long period of time has probably become an inevitable event. Huo Yuhao mourned for Muan in his heart, but then he thought about it. He was an old man. Even if he changed his orientation, it would not have much impact. Is it possible that the old tree could bloom, and a pear tree could overwhelm the begonias? Huo Yuhao quickly found the dormitory and opened the door. A somewhat turbid air rushed out. Huo Yuhao quickly turned aside and waited for a while before rushing in to open the window. This room has been unoccupied for at least more than a month. There was a layer of dust everywhere. Taking advantage of the window ventilation, Huo Yuhao also saw the layout of the dormitory. The dormitory was very small, about 10 square meters, and 2 beds had already occupied most of the space. There were also 2 shabby wardrobes and a table. There was also a compartment in the dormitory, and outside was a balcony and a bathroom. Speaking of which, Shrek was really not generous where he should be generous, and not frugal where he should be frugal. As for the student dormitory and the furnishings inside, how much money would it cost to improve these things that soul masters and ordinary people need? On Douluo continent, only the things that soul masters need are the most expensive, while the things that ordinary people need for life are very cheap. Huo Yuhao wiped the sweat from his forehead. He wanted to take a shower as soon as he got back to the dormitory to blow off the sweat, but seeing how dirty the dormitory was, he decided to clean it first. From the closet, bed, table to the floor, Huo Yuhao cleaned up the dust and debris from high to low. Then he fetched water, wiped, mopped the floor, and cleaned up the room for the second time. Looking at the tidy dormitory, Huo Yuhao was satisfied. Then he made his bed and put a few clothes in the empty closet. After everything was done, Huo Yuhao picked up the toiletries and took a good shower. Chapter 18 Wang Dong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a nice shower, Huo Yuhao, shirtless and wearing only shorts, saw a blue-haired boy in the dormitory packing his luggage. As soon as he came out of the bathroom, Huo Yuhao was stunned. Is this Wang Dong? He didn't expect that his roommate was still Wang Dong, just like in the original novel. He didn't know whether this was fate or the arrangement of the great god King Tang. He didn't have any bad feelings towards Wang Dong. In the original novel, except for a little temper of a young lady at the beginning, there was no big black spot. In the end, she dared to love and hate, and could sacrifice her life for Huo Yuhao. It was a pity that she had a scumbag father. In order to control Huo Yuhao, he used her and Wang Dong'er's 2 magic cards to synthesize a useless card of Tang Wudong. When Huo Yuhao read the novel, he saw this paragraph and was really eye-opening. Other novels are eager to divide a popular character into several people, but why is it that here, the popular character is used as consumables to synthesize useless cards? Tang Wudong, who was wearing the skin of Wang Dong'er and Wang Dong'er, looked neither like Wang Dong'er nor Wang Dong'er. She was a bit out of place, which made Huo Yuhao feel sick. As for how to deal with Wang Dong'er, Huo Yuhao decided to wait and see. He would definitely kill her scumbag father Tang San. As for what to do with Wang Dong'er, Huo Yuhao felt that although Wang Dong'er would lose her father, she could gain me. I could take on the responsibility of taking care of her and be her good father. Huo Yuhao decided that he would have to arrange a good show in the future where Tang San's clever plan to pacify the world, but he lost his wife and daughter, to let the little punk know. I hope he won't be angry to death by then. After figuring out how to treat Wang Dong'er, Huo Yuhao pushed open the door of the compartment and walked into the dormitory. He greeted Wang Dong. You are my roommate, right? My name is Huo Yuhao. Please give me more advice in the future. My name is Wang Dong. Why don't you knock on the door? Wang Dong snorted coldly when he noticed someone walking into the dormitory, and accused without turning his head. When she hung the clothes in her hands into the closet, she turned around and saw Huo Yuhao with his bare chest. Ah! Wang Dong's exclamation was a bit sharp and piercing. The blush climbed up her slender neck like white jade to her cheeks, and soon covered her entire face. It was unclear whether it was because of shame or anger. Why are you not wearing clothes? Wang Dong scolded with a red face. Huo Yuhao's mouth twitched. Don't slander me, I'm wearing clothes, I'm not a pervert to walk around in front of others. You. This time Wang Dong was so angry that his eyes were misty. How can you be so vulgar? Bastard, hooligan, pervert. How am I a bastard, hooligan, pervert? I'm a grown man who just took a shower and was shirtless. It's normal in the boys' dormitory. Where did you come from? If you don't like it, you can change dormitories and live in a single room. Huo Yuhao didn't indulge Wang Dong. Wang Dong, who had just run out of the hotbed and had a princess syndrome, needed a beating from the society. He would be obedient after a severe education. This is my dormitory. You should change it if you want. Why should I change it? Wang Dong was spoiled since she was a child. It was only her place that others followed her, not her place to follow others' wishes. Huo Yuhao pointed at the clean dormitory and said, just because I came here before you, I cleaned the dormitory, so it's my dormitory. Even if you pile your luggage on the bed, it's still my dormitory. You. Wang Dong couldn't argue with Huo Yuhao, and she was furious. She decided to use words instead of hands to defeat the bastard opposite her. As long as the other party listens to her in the future, she can let him live in the same dormitory with her because he cleaned the dormitory so cleanly. She is not an unreasonable person. Wang Dong was sure. Asshole, I want to duel with you, do you dare to come out with me? Wang Dong raised her head and said viciously. Duel. Huo Yuhao looked at Wang Dong with her head raised. Her slender jade neck made her look arrogant and domineering, like a big white goose in battle. Huo Yuhao smiled and said, I can duel, but why should I duel with you? The dormitory is originally mine. Wang Dong felt a little uncomfortable under Huo Yuhao's malicious gaze, but she was not timid. As long as Huo Yuhao agreed to the duel, she believed that she could win. Wang Dong snorted coldly, the dormitory belongs to both of us, not you. If I win the duel with me, you have to follow my rules. If you win, I will listen to you. Keep your word. You can do anything I ask you to do. Huo Yuhao looked up and down at Wang Dong with a hint of meaning. Clean and neat short blue hair, a pair of big blue eyes, and a handsome face, can be said to be the most beautiful he has ever seen. The slender white swan neck seems to be radiant. If it can wear a black neck ring, it must be a different kind of temptation. There is no ups and downs in the body. I wonder if it is still so approachable after returning to women's clothes. A pair of legs hidden in loose casual clothes could not hide their slender and straight features, which must be inherited from her mother Xiaoya. Rogue. Pervert. Wang Dong felt uncomfortable under Huo Yuhao's impudent gaze. If you look at me like this again, I will dig out your eyes. She raised her chin slightly, motioning Huo Yuhao to go out with her. Come out with me to compete. I, Wang Dong, will keep my word. Okay, Huo Yuhao, appreciate people like you who are straightforward. I just hope you don't regret it if you lose. Huo Yuhao showed an extremely bright smile, looking at Wang Dong as if he was looking at a big fool. We don't have to go out to compete, we can just compete in the dormitory. I'll stand here, without using my martial spirit. If you can hold my hand for 30 seconds without falling, you win. How about that? Wang Dong's beautiful pink blue eyes were full of disdain and contempt, and he sneered, 30 seconds. Without using martial spirit? Are you sure it's not you who can hold on for 30 seconds but me? Okay, I want to see how you can make me fall in 30 seconds. If you lose, I hope you can abide by my rules, otherwise I won't be polite. Huo Yuhao smiled but didn't say anything, just stretched out his right hand, waiting for Wang Dong to make a move. Wang Dong couldn't stand Huo Yuhao's mentally retarded look, so she swung her right hand fiercely and slapped Huo Yuhao's palm, ready to show her power. The moment they touched, she tightly grasped Huo Yuhao's hand, not letting him break free. Just as she was about to squeeze Huo Yuhao hard, suddenly, an indescribable feeling came over her. She couldn't do anything. She only felt indescribable softness all over her body, as if a hot current was running through her body, and the strange feeling that went straight into her soul was disintegrating her will. Wang Dong was about to ask Huo Yuhao what kind of magic he used, but as soon as she opened her mouth, she was shocked to find that she had regained her female voice, and she quickly stopped talking. She found that her voice was so charming and sweet that she couldn't believe that she could make such a sound. 10 seconds passed, and Wang Dong felt that her consciousness was about to blur, and her legs were weak and she was about to fall down. No. How could she lose? Biting her tongue, the stinging made her consciousness slightly fresh. She used up her last strength and held Huo Yuhao's palm tightly with her right hand. This was the only support that prevented her from falling down. 20 seconds, Wang Dong, who had lost consciousness, slowly leaned into Huo Yuhao's arms. 25 seconds later, in order to win, Huo Yuhao took Wang Dong to the balcony and laid him on the ground. As for why he didn't lay him on the ground in the dormitory, it can only be said that the ground in the dormitory is full of water, so he should lay him on the balcony. Huo Yuhao sighed. She is indeed the daughter of the evil Tang Sect, and she really has a hold on him. So much water made him have to clean the dormitory several times a day. 30 seconds later, Huo Yuhao forcibly opened Wang Dong's right hand that was tightly holding him. If he kept letting the other party touch him like this, he was afraid that Wang Dong would die of dehydration. 30 seconds was just right, just enough to complete the solidification task of contacting a great soul master. Huo Yuhao gently moved the unconscious Wang Dong to her bed, and carefully checked the girl with a rosy face with his mental power. He found that the other party was just excited and fainted, and there was nothing wrong with her. Then he gently wiped away the tears from the corners of her eyes, then picked up the toiletries and went to the bathroom. He wanted to take a shower first, and his legs were also wet, all rubbed by Wang Dong. I really don't know what Wang Dong does, I'm just asking, is anyone reading this? I really don't have much passion for writing on a single machine. Chapter 19 Shameful Wang Dong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After taking a shower, Huo Yuhao opened the window of the dormitory to ventilate it, then cleaned the floor with water, and after mopping it several times, he breathed a sigh of relief. Huo Yuhao checked Wang Dong again and found that her pretty face had returned to white. Even though his breathing was a bit rapid, a seductive moan came from the corner of his mouth occasionally. I squeeze my legs together and twist them from time to time. I wonder if the wet pants are clinging to my legs. Isn't it uncomfortable? I don't know if I would be so embarrassed when I wake up and find my wet pants. Huo Yuhao heard another moan from Wang Dong inside. What a misfortune. He carried Wang Dong to the bathroom with a sullen face, filled a bucket of water, and poured it all on Wang Dong with a splash. Ah, Huo Yuhao, stop it. Wang Dong, who had been doused with water, shouted subconsciously as soon as he woke up. Huo Yuhao's mouth twitched when he heard this, but he still didn't say anything more. The main reason was that Wang Dong was now dressing up as a man, and the sound made him feel a little chilly. Wang Dong woke up and looked around in confusion, and then saw Huo Yuhao holding a bucket at the bathroom door and gesturing to her, looking at her with a smile on his face. Looking at his wet appearance, Wang Dong still didn't understand what was going on. Ah! Bastard, I'll kill you. Wang Dong was awakened in a daze. Anger surged in his heart, and he summoned the clear sky hammer to hit Huo Yuhao. Huo Yuhao took a step back and quickly closed the bathroom door. Just a bang was heard, and a big hole was broken in the door. Taking advantage of this moment of obstruction, Huo Yuhao quickly returned to the dormitory, closed the door, and looked at the angry Wang Dong outside the balcony with a smile. Bang, bang, bang. Wang Dong slammed the door. Open the door for me. If it doesn't open, just smash it. You must know that if you smash a door, you will have to pay 500 gold soul coins. The school just hopes to have more people like you. Huo Yuhao looked at the angry Wang with amusement. Dong, teasing this girl is so fun. Huo Yuhao enjoyed the joy of crushing his IQ for the first time in a long time. Wang Dong's clenched fist was stuck in the air. It was neither a smash nor a smash, and his face turned red. She didn't lack the 500 gold soul coins, but if she smashed them, wouldn't she admit that she was taken advantage of? Moreover, when she got up, her anger gradually passed, and her rationality gradually gained ground. After regaining his composure, Wang Dong snorted and said, Huo Yuhao, open the door for me, I won't hit you. Seeing this, Huo Yuhao also opened the door and let him in. Wang Dong passed by Huo Yuhao without even looking at him. He took out his toiletries from his luggage with a sullen expression. Then he walked up to Huo Yuhao and looked away from the face that made her angry. He said in a low voice, Can you go out for a moment? I want to take a shower. Huo Yuhao was not angry when he saw Wang Dong's appearance, and said, You look exactly like the little girl who had trouble with her father in the movie. Wang Dong quickly turned his head when he heard this and glared at Huo Yuhao. Whose little girl movie are you talking about? I'll tell you, whoever looks like me. Huo Yuhao glanced at Wang Dong thoughtfully, which made Wang Dong feel guilty. I said, have you forgotten that you lost the bet? According to the bet, will you listen to me in the future, or are you planning to cheat? Huo Yuhao stared at Wang Dong. Who said I was cheating? You didn't ask me to do anything. Wang Dong defended. And you are cheating. You don't know what kind of evil power you use to make me, let me. Wang Dong recalled the situation at that time. His legs felt a little weak again, and his eyes were filled with mist. A sense of shame rushed into her heart, making her unable to speak any more. Anyway, you are cheating. I want to compete with you again, the kind of fight that is fair and square. Wang Dong simply closed his eyes and said with a pinched neck. Huo Yuhao suppressed his smile, crossed his arms across his chest, and said expressionlessly, So you still don't intend to admit it? Wang Dong still had that feeling in his mind. He quickly glanced at Huo Yuhao's hands. Wang Dong shrank his head, but his tone was still strong. Of course I keep my word. If we compete again, if I win, that bet doesn't count. If you win, as if he couldn't think of any chips, Wang Dong raised his head and waved it as if he was talking. Just tell me what you want to do. You agree to whatever I want to do? Huo Yuhao raised his eyebrows. Wang Dong hesitated for a long time, then muttered, Anyway, I'm a man, what can you do to me? Huo Yuhao regained his smiling look and threatened Wang Dong, Is it possible that you are telling the truth when you called me a pervert? What if I really am a pervert who likes boys? You look like this, but you are more handsome than most girls. Huo Yuhao glanced at Wang Dong up and down with ill intentions, while also making comments. Wang Dong's face turned pale, and he retreated to the farthest place from Huo Yuhao in the room. He said with a serious expression, I'm telling you, don't mess around. I am the young master of the Tang Sect, my eldest father and second father. But they are all titled Douluo. If you do anything to me, you will be dead. Huo Yuhao curled his lips and said, I can't help but tease you. Okay, I was just trying to scare you. Look, I scared you. I agreed to your bet, let's have a match tomorrow. As for the bet, I haven't decided yet, so just treat it as you owe me a condition, and I'll cash it in with you when I think about it. Wang Dong was a little angry after being teased. Huo Yuhao saw her bulging cheeks and thought she looked like a puffer fish. It was almost lunchtime, and Huo Yuhao planned to go to the canteen of Shrek Academy and take a look around Shrek Academy. Before leaving, Huo Yuhao shouted to Wang Dong, who was still hesitating whether to take a shower or not, If you want to take a shower, hurry up. I'm going to eat. If you haven't finished taking a shower when I come back, don't lose your temper. You are the one who loses your temper. Wang Dong shouted towards the door. but found that Huo Yuhao had disappeared. After being stunned for a while, Wang Dong remembered to take a shower. She didn't feel it when she was arguing with that bad guy, but now she just felt very uncomfortable being wet all over. Thinking of Huo Yuhao, Wang Dong felt shy at first, because the situation in the dream made her too ashamed. After being stunned for a while, the shyness in her heart disappeared. When she thought of Huo Yuhao again, Wang Dong just felt that her teeth were itching, and she wanted to rush over and beat him up immediately, but she didn't have to wait too long. She could beat him up hard tomorrow. It seemed that she thought of the scene of beating Huo Yuhao, and Wang Dong's eyebrows were curved with laughter. Thinking about it, Wang Dong frowned again, feeling a little worried. What strange ability did that guy use today? When he touched her, she felt weak all over and couldn't control herself. She also had some strange dreams. If he used this ability tomorrow, she would be embarrassed in front of everyone. Now recalling that feeling, Wang Dong felt hot all over, and quickly lowered the temperature of the shower to calm herself down. In addition to that strange behavior today, I shouldn't have embarrassed anyone else, right? Wang Dong was a little uncertain, mainly because he felt dizzy at the time and couldn't remember anything clearly. It seems that I made a female voice. Am I exposed? Wang Dong was shocked and broke out in a cold sweat. Thinking carefully about the other party's behavior today, it seems that he was really exposed. Not sure, let's wait and see. Wang Dong made a decision. After taking a shower, Wang Dong continued to put his luggage in place, and then climbed onto his bed. Let's rest for a while. It's very tiring. However, looking at the puddle of water on his bed, Wang Dong frowned. Could it be that guy did it again? Wang Dong sniffed lightly. Why is the smell not right? Finally, with lightning and thunder in her brain, she thought of it. Wang Dong buried her head in the quilt, feeling ashamed to face people. How could she? Didn't that guy think that she wet the bed? It was so embarrassing. No wonder that guy poured water on her to wake her up. Wang Dong found an empty space soul guide and put her bed and the clothes she had worn before into it. She planned to find a time to destroy the body. As for how to face Huo Yuhao in the future, Wang Dong was already considering whether to change back into women's clothes, change her name and then enroll in Shrek, just as if the boy Wang Dong had never been here. Chapter 20, Enlightenment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Huo Yuhao walked out of the dormitory and saw Moon lying at the door, still drowsy. He greeted her politely and was about to leave when he heard Moon's laughing voice coming from behind him. Young people should know how to restrain themselves. After all, the girl is thin-skinned. You can't play so big right away. Huo Yuhao almost fell flat on his face. He turned his head and saw a half-smile on Moon's wrinkled face. Huo Yuhao forced a smile. Grandpa, I don't quite understand what you said. Moon slowly waved his hand to let Huo Yuhao leave, still keeping that expression. Just assume that you don't understand. After all, I'm old and can't hear clearly. Maybe you young people are playing some new tricks, but I don't understand either. Huo Yuhao tried to hold back his expression and fled. Huo Yuhao made a decision that he must take more time to help this old man walk around in the future. What a good old man, he must let him move more. The canteen of Shrek is also divided by age. After entering the canteen and looking around, there is not even a place to sit. Students can only eat standing up. It must be said that Shrek Academy did not inherit many of the advantages of the first-generation founder Flanders, but the disadvantages of being stingy and cheating students were inherited 100%. Huo Yuhao looked at the menu. He couldn't afford the expensive ones. The cheap ones were vegetables and rice. It was better to do it yourself. He was born with low soul power because of malnutrition in his childhood. Now that he has become a soul master, he can't wrong himself. Eat something good and make up as much as possible. There is also a soft bone charm rabbit in the soul guide, which is just right for dinner. Huo Yuhao remembered that he had promised to treat Tangya and Bei Bei to roast rabbit. It was a good time to invite them today and ask about the situation to see if he could sell the recipe he developed to the restaurant in Shrek City. Huo Yuhao quickly found Bei Bei and Tangya. As the monitor, Bei Bei was busy coordinating the upgrade assessment for their class. Bei Bei also found that he looked at Tangya strangely, so he decided to hide from Tangya. Beibei rejected Huo Yuhao's invitation, and in the end, only Tanya came out with Huo Yuhao. Sister Xiaoya, do you know where to buy grills and firewood? We also need to buy some ingredients. Although Brother Beibei can't come with us, we can send them over after we make them. Putting them in the soul guide will not affect the taste of the food. Huo Yuhao asked. We have to go to the city to buy these things. Well, it's still early now. Let's go and come back quickly. Tanya left as soon as she said she would, ready to take Huo Yuhao with her, but she remembered the incident in the Star Do Great Forest again. Her pretty face turned red, and her bare hands were suspended in the air. She didn't dare to pull Huo Yuhao. Huo Yuhao gently pushed Tanya's sleeve and said with a smile, Sister Xiaoya, let's go. You lead the way. We can buy more vegetables and meat today. If you can find a place to cook, I will show you my skills. I guarantee it will be more delicious than barbecue. Really? Tanya shouted in surprise. The grilled fish last time was the most delicious thing she had ever eaten. It was hard to imagine what the more delicious food in Huo Yuhao's mouth would taste like. Tanya swallowed hard and couldn't wait to use her soul power to speed up. Seeing that Huo Yuhao couldn't keep up with her speed, she kept urging Huo Yuhao in front. As a foodie, she really had no resistance to the temptation of delicious food. When Huo Yuhao was cooking, Tanya was blinking beside him. She really couldn't wait for a minute. In the kitchen that Tanya found, Huo Yuhao's martial spirit possessed him, and his mental detection was turned on. He slowly closed his eyes. Before obtaining the first soul ring, Huo Yuhao used his martial spirit eyes to help him cook. Today was the first time that he used spiritual detection to cook. Everything in the kitchen was in his mind, and what he was most concerned about was the ingredients. Each ingredient had its own characteristics, and almost all chefs who were good at cooking could distinguish this, and Huo Yuhao could certainly do the same. In order to make money, he studied the ingredients and seasonings on the Douluo continent carefully, just to find substitutes for the delicious ingredients and seasonings on Earth. With spiritual detection, it was easier for Huo Yuhao to distinguish the characteristics of ingredients. In Huo Yuhao's mind, the data of each ingredient was clearly marked on it, and even as long as Huo Yuhao wanted, every millimeter of data would be marked. According to these data, Huo Yuhao quickly processed these ingredients with corresponding methods, salting, mixing with sugar, and some were put into the Space Soul Guide to maintain freshness. Then it was cooking. In order to make it more delicious, Huo Yuhao increased the output of his spiritual power, trying to control the changes and data of every vegetable and every piece of meat. In Huo Yuhao's mind, what was in front of him was no longer the stove and ingredients, but an ocean of data. He failed in the first dish, not because he did not cook well, but because he could not operate it delicately and give each piece of food the corresponding operation, and finally he could only handle it as a whole. After loading the failed dish into the soul guide, Huo Yuhao fell into deep thought. He found that his current problem was that his soul power and actions could not keep up with his mental power. This was not only reflected in cooking, but also in today's practical assessment. Huo Yuhao was thinking about how to solve this problem. Tanya, who was waiting on the side, saw Xiao Yuhao's dazzling operation, smelled the fragrance in the air, and sweat could not help but flow from the corner of her mouth. Finally, the first dish was finally served. Tanya did not bother to take the chopsticks and was ready to start directly. As a result, as soon as she blinked, the dish with a rich fragrance disappeared. Tanya wiped her eyes, but still did not see the dish that made her drool, so Xiao Yuhao put it into the soul guide. Was it for Beibei? Tanya couldn't help but grind her teeth, feeling a little indignant. Xiao Yuhao asked her out for dinner, but she didn't expect that the first thing he did after cooking was to be for Beibei. Tanya felt a little jealous. Originally, according to Huo Yuhao's performance in the Star Do Great Forest, she thought Xiao Yuhao had bad intentions towards her. She had considered whether she should refuse or half-heartedly accept if Xiao Yuhao made a move on her tonight, and if she refused, how far she should let Xiao Yuhao do it before refusing. Tanya couldn't help but recall the feeling of the moment of touch, and she felt weak all over and dry in the mouth. And now, when Xiao Yuhao cooked the first dish, he actually thought of leaving it for Beibei. Could it be that Xiao Yuhao's real target was Beibei and not her? Tanya was shocked. Did Xiao Yuhao seduce her to fall in order to let Beibei see her unbearableness, recognize her true face, and then leave her and throw herself into his arms. Tanya felt that she had discovered the truth. No wonder she felt that Beibei was a lot more distant from her. Did Xiao Yuhao have already launched an offensive against Beibei when she didn't know? Xiao Yuhao is really cunning. Tanya, you must be careful in the future, don't fall into Xiao Yuhao's trap. Tanya came back to her senses, and when she looked at Huo Yuhao again, her eyes were already alert and scrutinizing. Huo Yuhao still didn't know about Tanya's brainstorming at this time. He was thinking about how to make his operation keep up with his mental power. Fortunately, he had the memory of Electrolux as experience in his mind, and he quickly thought of the direction of practice. Huo Yuhao immediately started to cook the second dish. This time he didn't aim too high, but classified the ingredients with similar values, and then performed the same delicate operation on a category of ingredients. At the same time, he also used soul power to assist in operating the ingredients, multitasking to control various ingredients and heat. The second dish was ready and put into the soul guide. The third, fourth, fifth. Tanya was already starving, but she didn't choose to disturb Xiao Yuhao, but always guarded him. She could see that Xiao Yuhao was in a state of enlightenment. He could even enter enlightenment by cooking. Tanya didn't know whether she was too bad or Xiao Yuhao was too amazing. She was so envious that tears flowed from the corners of her mouth. She had been standing here for several hours, and she only saw Xiao Yuhao put the delicious dishes into the soul guide, while she could only smell the taste and swallow her saliva. It was really torture. When could she taste the dishes made by Xiao Yuhao? Finally, after Huo Yuhao used up the ingredients in the soul guide, he came out of enlightenment. Tanya immediately rushed over. Xiao Yuhao, you must compensate me. Huo Yuhao, who still didn't understand what happened. Huh?